Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today I'm going to tell you how to deal with rejection by complete strangers. Can you actually learn to become desensitized to it and grow past it? Let's find out. How do you handle rejection from complete strangers? One of the toughest things we can handle socially is rejection. Either rejection from a loan or a date or school saying you failed or fired from your job or laid off or locked out of a building. Who knows? Rejection is extremely hard to deal with. And I'm going to tell you a couple things I learned today about that. But before I go into that, if you wouldn't mind just taking a moment and hitting the subscribe button right down below in the corner there, that really would help my channel out and I would appreciate it. So I'm at the National Speakers Convention today in Denver, Colorado. It's called Influence 2019. And today I heard a speaker from China. His name is Jia Jiang. Really impressive. This guy actually made an entire study about rejection. It utterly blew my mind, simply because as a person who is social and gets out and works as an entrepreneur trying to sell my ideas, rejection can actually become very disheartening and painful. And for some people it can be absolutely crippling. So as a motivational speaker, I have to stand in front of audiences of dozens, if not thousands of people, depending on who I'm speaking with. I've had audiences up to 4,000 people. Pretty sizable groups. And I have to convey a message that resonates, that connects with people, that makes them feel something, and most importantly, gets them to take some sort of action to improve their life. But in order to get that job, I have to face a whole slew of rejection. It's really, really tough because maybe I'm not the right person. Maybe they don't like my haircut or the message or how I come on stage. It's pretty tough to deal with. That's just the nature of business. And people say, well, you got to get over it. Have you ever asked for a date? Have you ever asked somebody to do something that not illegal, but hey, this might be a little bit odd? Have you ever asked somebody for a favor and been completely rejected, knowing that, hey, that friend, excuse me, still owes me a favor, and you carry that hurt potentially for a long time? Some people carry that rejection literally for the rest of their lives, where they simply can't get past it, and they'll use it as a crutch for anything to get out of pain. So Jia Jiang, I'm going to put a link below to his rejection blog, but it's one of the strangest things socially as a human you can do is actually seek out rejection. Now, it sounds like this real messed up subconscious problem where Mr. Jiang has, but actually he went to a therapist and he was talking about rejection because he was trying to build this company and he was having real trouble with it, and his wife's like, you need to go get some help. And so he developed this blog called Rejection Therapy. Let me pull that up on my phone. Literally a thing about rejection therapy. So people say he told him he needs to do a 30-day program in rejection therapy. And of course, Mr. Jiang decides, you know what, I'm going to go really crazy. I'm going to take 100 rejections. So what he did, he literally, check it out, went and got rejections from all these different things. He tried to borrow $100 from a stranger. He requested a burger refill at a burger joint. You can get a soda refill, but a burger refill might be a problem. He randomly went up to someone's house and it's so funny, and asked, would you mind if I played soccer in your backyard? Imagine some guy who's got a Chinese accent and shows up with soccer cleats and shin guards and all that and a soccer ball, shows up at your door and says, hello sir, ma'am, may I play soccer in your backyard? He's an adult, like 30 years old. What would you say? No, okay, slam. Well, guess what? This rejection ended up not being a rejection. The guy at the front door was so surprised and said, that's pretty strange. go ahead, I guess. I don't know. And Mr. Jiang literally went back and he realized, well, I don't have anybody else to play soccer with. So he didn't totally think that out. But it was hilarious that he actually has a picture in some person's random backyard of him standing with a soccer ball playing soccer. He actually got unrejected, not rejected. He got accepted. And then he started to think, hey, wait a minute. So he went through and did some crazy things. He announced the safety briefing on a Southwest Airlines. He tried to do some announcements in Costco. What else did he do? He tried to make a sale for Best Buy, put sunglasses on random people. He tried to observe a high school class. Yeah, that probably didn't go too well. He wanted to become a tour guide at a museum. So Mr. Jiang's attempt was to actually desensitize himself to rejection. And what his final conclusion was that you don't ever really become fully desensitized to rejection, but the most important lesson he learned was to get through it quicker. Yes, he got a rejection, so what? So what? Did you lose your life? No. I mean, if you're asking for a date, and hey, would you like to go out next Thursday to dinner or something, and the other person says no, you didn't have a date next Thursday before. And now you don't have a date next Thursday anyway. Have your circumstances really changed? Absolutely not. So he actually began training himself to learn to move through the rejection. Now, a lot of us carry pain of rejection from childhood that subconsciously affects our actions way into adulthood. I mean, I'm in my mid-40s. I'm actually decent at handling rejection. I'm not perfect. I still get but it's really a thing. So I read an article in Psychology Today, and it was it actually gave the point of rejection is so powerful that the pain we feel in rejection is actually more memorable than physical pain that we've experienced. And you might say, hey, that's a really whack thing. Physical pain is less memorable than rejection pain? Oh, do you remember if, like, any time in your life someone told you you're ugly, you're stupid, you can't do something, you're incapable, you're not smart enough? I bet you might have experienced one of those. And just by me mentioning that, I bet brings back feelings of pain. But what Mr. Jiang decided to do is, you know what? I had these rejections as a child. He has this whole story about him getting gifts and he got rejected. It was kind of like a birthday cart party or whatever it was in China, however they do that there. But he had that pain of that 6-year-old on his shoulder well into his 30s, telling him he wasn't good enough, smart enough, capable, or whatever. He carried that pain. And you might say, what a loser. Oh no. Think about the pain you've had in your life. How to handle rejection from strangers, literally, you have to look at what has happened, what is going to happen, what could potentially happen. See, the potential's like, ooh, oh no. Fear is truly based on our belief of something that might happen. Not happening, not like, hey, I'm going to drop the phone and hit my head or fall off the railings here or something tragic. So often, rejection isn't personal at all. Rejection like, hey, do you want to go out on a date next week? No, I mean, maybe they're not into you. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't feel like it. Maybe they just broke up with a relationship. Or who knows? Who knows? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's the hard thing. You get this ball in the pit of your stomach and, this thing you get wrapped up on. And the most important thing to remember is, if I ask this request, whatever it might be, what is going to be my circumstance if I don't receive the request? What is the worst possible thing that's going to happen to you? Mr. Jiang actually went to Krispy Kreme Donuts and requested the manager make the Olympic rings in the correct color in a donut shape. And he thought, man, that's like a totally whacked request. He showed to this audience of 1,200 people that the staff at Krispy Kreme actually figured out how to make the Olympic rings in the correct color and delivered it in a Krispy Kreme box. Now, of course, he paid for it, or he tried to pay for it, and the manager said, you know what? No, thank you. This was so cool. this is on us. I mean, this was his inspiration that humanity might actually be worth saving. I mean, that was hilarious. Like, wow. Some people are so touching that this totally might still be worth keeping going. So, in order to handle rejection from strangers, you have to remember that your request might be ill-timed, not because you're unintelligent, it just might be bad timing. It may be unrealistic for that other person to do. You have no idea. But remember, when you ask things, chances are you're not going to die. Now, I know that's a low standard, but in the realm of tragic things that are going to happen is, hey, can I play soccer in your backyard? I mean, that sounds totally stupid. Yet this man let Mr. Jiang into his backyard to play soccer. Now am I saying go up and down to your neighbors' houses and do that? No! But the whole idea is that in order to handle rejection from strangers, one, you have to get totally used to the idea that it is going to happen. Two, know that it is possible to move through the rejection super quick. Three, to remember that, that pain and rejection, the more you internalize it, the longer that lasts. Four, just remember, it's like totally not personal at all. So often, it's just not. And five, remember that you didn't die. You didn't lose anything. You didn't certainly gain anything, but you haven't lost a thing when you make a request to a complete stranger. And those are some of the ways of how to handle rejection that I've learned at the Speakers Convention in Influence 2019. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on the video, hit the little arrow, scroll down, leave a comment, let me know how I'm doing, and please, again, subscribe to my channel. And support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.